Greetings, fellow interloper, it's Taylor. This video is dedicated to the newcomers of the No Man's Sky universe, or any beginning player who might have taken a break, only to return after finding out how much this game has evolved. Depending on when you last played, you might be in for a surprise as far as how portals operate. So let's lay a little groundwork on how traveling works, and which method does what, as well as how to take advantage of sites like the No Man's Sky Coordinate Exchange to find awesome ships, multi-tools, as well as other cool stuff. So let's dive in. When you're traveling, obviously, the majority of the time you'll be using your ship to hop from system to system, and occasionally, when you do visit the center of any galaxy, you can always enter the next one. But clearly that's not the only way to travel. You have your base teleporters that allow you to visit any base you've constructed, regardless of which galaxy it's in. That's cool, but it's kind of a catch-22 if you've never left the Euclid galaxy. You can also travel to recently visited space stations as well, which can come in handy if you're running trade routes. If you're not sure what that is, I did a Galaxy Map Mastery video that breaks down how to use the Galaxy Map to make money trading goods from one system to the other. So what's the deal with glyphs and portals then, yeah? The beauty of portals is, well, bittersweet. They allow you to travel anywhere within the galaxy you're in, regardless of whether or not you have a base there. You can literally enter in a specific combination of symbols, known as glyphs, and travel to a specific planet in a specific system. The downside is that you're confined to the galaxy you're using it in, so unfortunately you can't use a portal address when you're in Euclid to travel to somewhere in a different galaxy. Think of portals as the postal service and the glyphs as planet addresses. If you have the correct glyphs, you can activate a portal and jump straight to that planet. In total, there are 16 glyphs, but planet addresses only use 12 of the 16. And as far as their names are concerned, it wasn't until the Living Ship update that 12 of the 16 actually got an official name. So here's a graphic I did with all 16 glyphs. As you can see, 4 of them are in yellow. Those are the 4 that weren't mentioned in the Living Ship quest, so we'll just use their legacy name, which is basically what the community decided to name them. I'm gonna spare you the hexadecimal breakdown of the glyphs, but the long and short of it is that these 16 glyphs actually have an order from 0 to 9 and then A to F, but for simplicity's sake, we'll save it for another video. In classic No Man's Sky fashion, using a portal is a process that requires a series of steps you need to follow. While it's possible to visit quite a few planets with, say, 2 or 3 glyphs, let's work on getting all 16. The last thing you want is to see a portal address you can't get to because you don't have all the glyphs. So let's talk about the burning question you have right now, how to get these glyphs. There are basically 2 ways, and like anything in this game, there's no right or wrong. It all depends on how quickly you want the portal glyphs and how you just enjoy playing this game. The first method is a method I unknowingly used when I was going through my very first playthrough, and that's to simply follow where the storyline takes you, particularly the Artemis storyline. Don't worry, you won't find spoilers here, but you will get all 16 glyphs when you reach a certain point in this storyline. It does take some time, but getting a deeper understanding of all the lore around the game is well worth the playthrough. The second method is definitely more straightforward, but doesn't necessarily take any less time. It all depends on your luck in finding a specific kind of character in the game, known as travelers. Travelers can be found at space stations as well as trading posts, and stick out like a sore thumb from the standard Gek, Korvax, and Vikings roaming about. They basically kind of look like a hologram, and depending on the dialogue tree of your first interaction, the second interaction is where you can ask them where they came from, which costs 100 nanites, and they will then direct you to their grave site. Once you visit this site, you'll be rewarded with a glyph. These are awarded in order, and travelers will only give you one, so don't waste your nanites trying to give the same traveler another 100 nanites to get another gravesite location. We'll have to hop in another system and find another traveler to get the next glyph. Now, of course, there is no guarantee that travelers will be in a space station at all. Something to keep in mind. But then again, there might be 2 travelers walking around the space station, so you just never know. If you want to go the route of the travelers, just make sure to check both sides of the space station and especially that pilot lounge area where it's just to the right as you face the multi-tool vendor. So let's skip ahead to getting your final glyph. Now you're ready to make your way to a portal, but obviously have no idea how to find one at this point. This is where monoliths come in. Monoliths are actually how you find portals, and to find monoliths, you've got two options basically. The first one, you just head to the space station and exchange nav data with the cartographer to get a planetary chart. And the one you want is on the very bottom, called alien cartographic data. That's the one you want to exchange with. Now, I recommend getting a handful because they don't always reveal a monolith. Sometimes they could reveal an ancient ruin as well. In that case, you can just scan again until you find a monolith. Now, the second option is a little bit more mid-game when you actually have a freighter and the exocraft summoning station aboard the freighter. From there, you can call your freighter in and summon your exocraft. And if you have all the exocraft signal booster upgrades, you can actually scan for ruins using your exocraft, and you never have to even worry about nav data and exchanging for planetary charts. Now that you've found a monolith, don't forget about the 3 knowledge stones that are there. Now you're ready to find a portal. There is, of course, one catch. You must answer a little riddle, and it'll cost you one of 3 different relics, depending on what the dominant life form of that particular system is. If you're unsure on that, just look at your galaxy map and expand your system to reveal which life form is dominant. So you'll either need to have a Korvax casing, a Vy'keen dagger, or a Gek relic. If you don't get the right answer to the riddle, don't worry about it. Just reload and try again. You'll need to interact with the monolith one more time after you've answered the riddle. Only then will you get the location of the portal to be revealed. So to quick backtrack, the best way to snag the correct relic is heading to the nearest trading post and buying it from one of the pilots who have landed. You can also buy them occasionally from trade terminals or pilots who land at space stations. Now comes the fun part. You've got a bead on a portal and you're ready to travel. Of course, it's still not that simple. Every portal you encounter for the first time, and sometimes if you use that portal a lot, they need to be charged with a variety of elements, such as catalytic, organic, earth, and stellar. But once you get the portal charged up, you enter the 12 glyph address and you're on your way. Many of you might be asking at this point, where these addresses even come from? Well, the simple answer is, you can see that before you activate the portal, you can actually get the address of your particular planet that you're on. That's one way. But the easiest way is just to enter camera mode, and you can see that your location or your planet's portal code is displayed in the lower left corner. Pretty easy. This would be very handy if you found, say, a beautiful paradise planet that you want to post online or share with friends to come visit. All they would need is which galaxy you're in and the 12 glyph address. Remember, they would already need to be in that galaxy in order to use those portal glyphs. It's that simple. And I gotta say, it's pretty sweet to have all 16 glyphs, because once you do that, you can visit sites like the No Man's Sky Coordinate Exchange and shop for multi-tools or planets or ships, whatever you feel like. It's definitely a lot of fun to check out what everybody's posting, because they're going to include all the necessary information if you wanted to go out and get it yourself. So right here you can see that they've provided the glyphs, and in this case it's a multi-tool, so there's a few more steps involved. But sometimes you just want to go out and find it yourself. If that's the case, then you got to check out my guide, Multi-Tool Hunting 101. I think you'll like it. But going back to the No Man's Sky Coordinate Exchange, it's a lot of fun, so you gotta check it out once you get your glyphs. The only thing to really watch out for is that some of these locations and planets have changed if you're visiting a post that's a couple years old. With every update, there is a possibility of, say, your favorite lush planet turning into a nightmare planet. So keep that in mind. Alright guys, hopefully you have a much better understanding of how monoliths and portals and glyphs all work together, and you can take full advantage from getting all your glyphs. If you enjoy videos like this, I've got a few others that you might enjoy as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Taylor with Whiskey Barrel Gaming, signing off.